Hey, you liberal fruitcakes! The three branches of government! Let's talk about it! I think a lot of you are forgetting that there are three branches of government and what the purposes of those branches of government are. So let's talk about it and then talk about Trump's most recent executive order. Number one, the legislative branch, or Congress. These are the people responsible for making laws. Their powers are passing laws, controlling government spending or the power of the purse, which is out of control right now. But don't worry, we're getting that one under control. And approves presidential appointees. Number two, the executive branch. This is the president and the administration under the president. They are the ones who enforce the laws that Congress or the legislative branch have written. Under this branch, you have the president, vice president, cabinet, and federal agencies. The powers of this branch, primarily the president, is to sign or veto laws, direct military operations with the help of his cabinet, conduct foreign policy with the help of his cabinet, and manage federal agencies. Don't worry, we're getting close to his executive order because that little sentence I said has a lot to do with it. Number three, the judicial branch. These are the people who interpret laws. The highest court who has the highest authority for interpretation is the Supreme Court. This branch's job is to review laws and make sure that they're constitutional, resolve disputes via the court system, and protect your rights, making sure the government isn't interfering with your rights. And just because you don't like the way the court rules doesn't make them illegitimate. With all these three branches, regardless if you like the decisions or not, provide checks and balances. And just because it doesn't swing the way you want it doesn't mean those checks and balances don't exist. So be quiet. Now let's look at the executive order that Trump signed today. Because you guys didn't read the executive order. You just trust the news who pulls snippets. The executive order is called Ensuring Accountability for All Agencies. Now remember the second branch of government we talked about? The executive branch? Who's at the top of that branch? The president. What's his job? To enforce laws. Now those executive branches that you guys all seem to love, like you like to say, we didn't vote for those agencies, or the heads of those agencies, operate under the president. Now you think that this executive order is consolidating power aggressively under the president. Couldn't be further from the truth. Over past administrations, presidents have given these executive agencies more and more leniency on creating rules to support the laws of Congress. And in many cases, there's been zero oversight on the regulation of those laws. The ATF is a great example. They create regulations under laws without any sort of oversight by the president, who's in charge of the executive branch. All this executive order does is require these regulatory agencies who don't create laws but are acting like they do to submit any sort of regulation or proposal to the president before publishing it. So the head of the executive branch, the president of the United States, who Americans voted for, can make sure that the regulation is in line with the law that was created by the legislative branch and not just act independently of the president, who's the head of the executive branch. So it's not seizing power. It's just requiring the executive branch to answer to the head of the executive branch, who's their boss. If the interpretation or law is found unconstitutional, it'll be done through the courts. So that way the government executive branch, acting independently of the president, can't regulate people into oblivion just because they don't like the way a law was written by Congress. If you don't like this executive order so much, I can guarantee when you get your guy into the presidency, you would have had no problem with that executive order. So stop your whining, stop your crying, read executive orders, research the three branches of government because you guys keep forgetting that, and have a good day!